Well, the stage is set. We're going back to Philadelphia to face the Philadelphia Eagles in an NFC Championship conference game. Let's get into this one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video here on the Washington Football Maniacs channel. My name is Greg, and I'm here with Brandon Scott. And of course, this channel is dedicated to news and commentary for the Washington Commanders. If you're down with that, please make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. And also, when you do, make sure you hit that notification bell to notify you for all videos so you won't miss any other video releases. So, our team somehow keeps just raising the bar on our expectations week in and week out. This Commanders team got into the playoffs, got the 6th seed, was able to, of course, beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week in the wild card round, got to the divisional round. Pretty much everybody was picking Detroit to win, even a lot of us. I didn't expect the Commanders to make it past Detroit. And not only did they make it past Detroit, they soundly beat them. I mean, honestly, they did. They soundly beat them. I have to go back and look. I'm not sure at what point, if ever, did Detroit even lead in the game at all. But we're now to the NFC Conference Championship game, and we're doing it with a team that we have kept saying is not completely been rebuilt yet. Yeah. This is only year one, season 1, year 1, whatever you want to call it, of the Dan Quinn regime, of the Adam Peters regime. And they went out and they got players that they felt could lead, could play, could teach some of the younger guys, just basically to help build a culture. And this year was supposed to be a year where culture was going to be built. They were going to learn how to win, but they were going to learn how to just, work as a team, love each other, and look out for each other and start building a winning franchise. This was like the very beginning of this. And we all kind of chuckled at the beginning of the season, Brandon, when Dan Quinn said, "This is not a rebuild, this is a retool." And I'm like, okay, all right, whatever, because you turned over like 80% of the roster, basically. I mean, so many starters from last year were gone. Brand new starters, a lot of them on the defense. Of course, brand new starters on the offensive as well. And yet, it really was a retool. It was just, it was like a tune-up, but yet even better. It's a team that kept fighting, together, went on a huge, win streak, and then kind of hit a low moment during the season, 3-game losing streak. We all started kind of saying, okay, well, this is, it was fun while it lasted. But, this team, obviously, they still have a ways to go. Yeah. Went in and beat the Titans and had a good bye week, and then came back and never lost a game. Had some big wins, some last-minute wins against really good playoff caliber teams like the Eagles, even though that Eagles fans will say it was Kenny Pickett playing, we still beat them. Some very tough NFC East matchups, the Dallas game, that's always a tough game, Atlanta. So, I mean, we had some tough games, and they get into the playoffs. They're not favored to beat Tampa Bay. They beat Tampa Bay. Yeah. And definitely not favored to beat the Detroit Lions, and came in and beat the Detroit Lions, even though that, there are a lot of things that they need to clean up on defense, obviously, but they were still able to to beat up on Detroit, the number one seed in the NFC, and now they're headed to Philadelphia. Philadelphia took care of the LA Rams today, 28-22. And so now we have a showdown, an NFC East third game against the Philadelphia Eagles and Washington Commanders in Philadelphia. And the stage is set, Brandon. And, I'll say this. If you're going to go to the big dance, if you're going to go to the Super Bowl,
yeah,
you should beat the best. And so if the Eagles are the best team in the NFC now, you've already beat Detroit. So if they are truly the best team left on the NFC side, why not go after them? Why not play them? Because if you beat them and you go to the Super Bowl, you've been battle tested. And they're going to be battle tested. I think even if it was the Rams, they'd be battle tested anyway, after everything they've went through. But they win, lose, or draw. And again, there's not going to be a draw. I realize that. But win or lose, just the tremendous season that they have had to have gotten this far. This is their first NFC Conference Championship appearance in 33 years. Had a mullet back then. So Brandon, I mean, how did we get here? And what are we expecting now? Obviously, there's higher expectations.
Oh, yeah.
On one hand, we need to keep expectations in check.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, last night gave you the glimpse of dreaming of what this team has the ability to do. So, what are your thoughts on this and this whole dream that we're having right now?
Oh, easy, man. Longtime Chicago Bulls GM once said that organizations win championships. And while I do agree to a certain point, the players are the most important part of the process, but you do win championships as organizations. This is an organization to win. And the reason I say that is that look at the road we came, right? 20 years of Dan Snyder, new ownership in Josh Harris. He has shown that he's willing to put the time and the effort into rebuilding this franchise. Went out there, he's in the process of getting a stadium deal. He's done what he is supposed to do as far as checking the boxes as an owner. He's done a great job coming in and really showing some love, actually prioritizing the franchise, not just using it as a cash cow like Dan Snyder did for 20 plus years, using it just as his personal ATM. No, he actually wants to win, and he's put the time, the effort, the love that this franchise and this fan base deserves. So just starting for the ownership, we have competent leadership. We have an adult in the building now. GM, we got a legitimate general manager. No more Ron Rivera playing coach and GM. We got to have a guy who went out there and scouted. He evaluated talent at the draft, and he hit the nail on the head on a lot of these draft picks. I mean, a lot of these draft picks have played and have been responsible for, where the team's at. Mike Samuelson's been really well cornerback. I mean, he's done well. Brandon Coleman, up and, has had his ones overall, but I think he was definitely a really good value pick at the, in the round he was chosen in. And Johnny Newton, I mean, if you look at, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, have they play well? As lately they have played well, but overall, you do want more production out of that defensive tackle position, especially for the price tag. But we found an eventual starter, in my opinion, Johnny Newton in the draft. So Adam Peters, look what he's done as far as a talent and evaluator. We missed that here in DC. I can't remember last time we had a true talent evaluator like Adam Peters. So he's not only been able to add decent pieces in the draft, free agency. You went out there and got the first leader we've had a linebacker since London Fletcher. Bobby Wagner, can't say enough. I mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's been a leader at the linebacker position. He's been the leader of the defense. Frankie Louvu, he's a dog. He's a guy who's been the heartbeat of the defense. I mean, you look at you already mentioned what's his name, Johnny Newton. Look at Dorrance Armstrong, a guy that we got in free agency. He came in and he's played really good football on the bookend. The other bookend, Dante Fowler. I mean, come on, Dante Fowler you could argue, played Pro Bowl quality football. I mean, we ain't even talked about the secondary yet. Going out there and making the trade and getting Marshawn Lattimore, definitely took a lot of pressure off Mike Sam still. We knew that Benjamin St. Juste wasn't quite that guy to be the number one guy. Mike Davis wasn't the guy. And then they got rid of, I hate to say it, but sometimes it's addition by subtraction. Marion Forbes, you sent him on his way. I mean, Jamin Davis, sent him on his way. The list goes on. They're bringing in the players that fit the system. So just from free agency, just from the draft component, just from the trade market, Adam Peters has done an immaculate job bringing in talent and really building a championship level team. I was one of those people that thought that next year was going to be the year because I'm a firm believer in playoff experience, and I think that was the one thing that definitely gave Detroit the edge because they were in the NFC Championship game last year. They've had all those weapons, they've had the chemistry, so I felt like they really had the edge. But we proved in this game that you got to make the right plays at the right time in the playoffs. That's the biggest thing about the playoffs. It is not the regular season. You've got to capitalize. Detroit had five turnovers. We capitalized. We capitalized on every turnover. We attacked Jared Goff. We forced him to make quick reads, quick decisions, and don't get it twisted. I mean, their offense still shined. I mean, he still threw for 313 yards, but he threw 3 picks and composed 1 touchdown. I mean, Gibbs still got 105 yards, and St. Brown did what St. Brown does, 8 receptions for 137 yards. So, we allowed their weapons to do their thing, but here's the thing. He's got to get the ball out to his weapons. So if he was capitalizing moments, but the defense did a good job at capitalizing. The secondary still had their moments where they struggled. I mean, St. Brown's a hardcover. I mean, Jameson Williams is a dog. I mean, Laporta is going to be Laporta, and Gibbs with his ability to run the ball and catch the ball in the backfield. I mean, this was a tough assignment for this defense, and there's moments where we struggled, but that's the thing, man. You got to capitalize on turnovers, and we did that. We made the right plays at the right time. So this is an organizational win, and I ain't talking about the coaching staff yet. We saw Mr. Ben Johnson over there on the sideline, and I couldn't help to think that we made the right choice. Looking at Ben Johnson, and obviously a lot of people wanted him. I myself thought he was definitely a shoo-in for the job, but Dan Quinn was the right job. I mean, he was the right person for the job. Is when I wanted to say, he's the right gentleman for the job. Dan Quinn has done an immaculate job getting this football team where they needed to be. Nothing against Ron Rivera, very nice guy, great story, but it's all about finding the right pieces for the organization, the right system, the right players for that system, and we're headed towards dominancy, in my opinion. If we continue to stay on the course we're at, even if we win against Philly, which is going to hurt, man, because I want this game, Greg. I want this game bad because, number one, I hate the Eagles. Number two, I hate the Eagles fans. And we got to beat the Eagles, man. I do not want to hear that mess for a whole year because, they will not let it down, which surprises me from a team that's only won one Super Bowl. So there's a lot of, I don't get it. But, I think that this is an organizational win. The coaching staff, Joe Witt, again, on the defense, Cliff Kingsbury, and really formulating this offense around Jay Daniels. I'm very proud to be a Commanders fan, and I'm always proud to be a Commanders fan, man. Whether it's the Redskins, whether it's the football team, the Commanders, I bleed burgundy and gold. I bled burgundy and gold since the day I came into this world, man. And win, lose, I mean, we've gone through a lot in 20 years, Greg, a lot in 20 years, and to see this team where they're at in the NFC Championship game is a testament to ownership matters, competent ownership matters, and it's shown that we wasted so many years under Dan Snyder, and we finally have a legit owner, a legit GM, a legit coaching staff, and players who want to get the best out of themselves. To be the best, Greg, you have to beat the best, and we are truly shown that we can beat the best. So, look, the Eagles, man, look, they can call them the favorites all they want, but I think we have a chance to punch the Eagles in the mouth and call it a day. We went into Detroit, the number 1 seeded Detroit Lions, and we told the crowd, you ain't got to go home, but you got to get up out of the stadium. So we're going to do the same thing in Philly, man. So look, when it comes to the next game, man, the best thing about Philly is pie to cheesesteak because we about to go in there. We about to take care of them Eagles, man. So that's where I'm at. I'm proud of this team.
Yeah, I tell you, Ric Flair, he has had no truer words. To be the man, you got to beat the man. And we were talking about this. Yes, if the Eagles beat us, it's going to hurt. It's definitely going to hurt because we know how much that they talk. We know how much that we talk back. So, it's a rival. It is definitely an NFC East rival. So, but at the same time, if we went back, traveled through time, went to 1982 and well, actually, I guess 1983, January, whenever it was, and we're playing against the Dallas Cowboys. You think that the Washington Redskins at that point would have been like, man, I wish it was somebody else. No, they wanted Dallas. They kept saying, we want Dallas. Why is that? Because they are a rival, and the best way to show that you are the champion is to beat who you feel like is the best. And so right now, the Eagles feel like they're the best. And so you got to go in there and you got to beat them. And, the thing is, we're going through the hardest way to get to the Super Bowl, having to be on the road every single game in order to get to the Super Bowl. But you know what? This team has shown so much resilience that it didn't matter playing at home or playing on the road. They were going to win either way. They're you looked at Jaden Daniels and you saw exactly his expression on his face. He was stone cold, man. I mean, like he did not show any type of nervousness whatsoever, and you can tell on these young quarterback faces when the pressure is starting to get to them. No matter how much that they tried to hide it and say, nope, I'm just going to go out there and play, you can tell. With Jaden Daniels, you can't tell. He's so stone cold.
Yeah.
You look at him sitting on the sideline, he's just sitting there like he's waiting for a bus. I mean, like he just there's no emotion. I mean, yeah, he does get emotional, but there's there's nothing that's showing that, things are getting to this dude.
Yeah.
And I think that's been a testament to his preparation. We talked about how the dude was like the first guy in the gym in the morning, last guy to leave. I mean, he has prepared for this point. He's prepared for this moment. It's like what Darryl Green said before is your right now moment. This is going to be Jane Daniels' right now moment.
Yep.
And, win or lose, he's going to make sure that the Eagles don't forget that this is going to be a battle for at least the next 10 years for the NFC East. These two teams are probably going to be ruling the roost for the next 10 years. And so, what better way than to play an NFC East division foe in that conference championship? It does kind of remind you of the old Redskin Cowboy days.
Yeah.
So this time's the Eagles, and that's fine. That's fine. Let's do it. So, and looking back at the Detroit game, and look on the surface, you can say you allowed 31 points from the Detroit Lions. You allowed total well over 400 yards total offense. So that's something not to be proud of. And it's like, yeah, but the defense did make plays when they needed to. Exactly. Mikey Sandstrill has become, honestly, he's become to me the number one cornerback. And he even said, he's like, it doesn't matter if they want to move me in the middle, I'll play in the middle. If they want me on the outside, I'll play on the outside. He has shown such resilience. I mean, he's a fantastic player, fantastic draftee. I tell you, they really hit. Talk about hitting a home run on Jaden Daniels. They hit a home run on Mikey Sandstrill.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the dude is awesome. And as you mentioned before, adding Marshawn Lattimore later on is a very solid move as well. I still would like for us to pick up another corner.
Oh yeah.
Draft or whatever to really solidify the secondary. But we saw shades of what this defense can really be. And I think in another year or so, this defense is going to be dominant. And once you have a dominant defense to go along with that offense, this is going to be a team that's going to be probably building a dynasty, honestly.
Yeah.
And even though I've lived through the glory years and I got to witness the glory years, I can't say it was ever considered a dynasty because you always had like the San Francisco 49ers that was always really considered the dynasty team of the 80s. And then after them, it was, okay, well, Washington, maybe New York Giants. But, but they were always up there and they were always contenders for the most part. Yeah. This team, I think, has an opportunity once it's been completely built to be a dynasty. And to be a powerful team. And Jaden Daniels he's just unbelievable. I have never seen a rookie play like him. And I've been watching football for 40 plus years. And you would think of those 40 plus years, you would see somebody kind of like him. And I'm not putting down or ignoring guys like Ben Roethlisberger, who had a tremendous rookie season. Guys like that, obviously, Jackson had, he came in right away and seemed like he was just going to be, Lamar's just going to be this lit quarterback, and obviously that's the case. But Jaden Daniels, there's something about him.
Yeah.
It's like you can't say he's a running quarterback because he looks to pass first. He wants to be the quarterback, but he can run, and he can. It's not just a scramble like you may have seen. What's his name from Buffalo?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen can run, but he's like a bruiser type of quarterback. Like Jaden Daniels can run and can be so explosive with his legs as well. And so there's something different about him. But the biggest thing about him is how he has elevated all of his other players around him. Terry McLaurin, of course, is always up for it, but Terry McLaurin showed why he's scary Terry last night. Diami Brown, one of those guys that honestly deserves to be re-signed. We need to keep him. He has really emerged. And, just making players around him so much better. So looking ahead to Philly, we're obviously both teams know each other. They know the weaknesses and the strengths. Playing in Philly is always tough. But we know how to play against Philly. We almost beat them in the first game. We just kind of ran out of steam there in the fourth quarter, and they took over. But the team, Washington was leading that game through all three of those 4 quarters. So, we could have won that game. So, obviously, we'll make later on in the week, we can make keys to the game and stuff like that. But, looking ahead, we know what we need to do, Brandon. We need to do like we did last night. There needs to be some more contributions from Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler. We need to have those guys playing their best football. We need to get the ball to Scary Terry. We need to be able to get Jaden Daniels out on the perimeter there to being able to scramble if he needs to. And then, of course, defensively, we've got to stop Saquon Barkley. Last time, Saquon got us in that first half, and then we kind of shut him down in the second half. I've noticed that what this defense is they kind of take the punches there in the first half, and then they rebound. They just make changes, adjustments, and then you can see those changes and adjustments kind of starting to work out there in the second half. But, you got Mikey Sandstrill back there who's making huge plays now. You got Marshawn Lattimore. Marshawn didn't play in the last game. Well, yeah, he did. He did play in the last game, but he didn't play in the first game against Philly. So we got those two back there. Quan Martin, another guy, in that safety position. So, it's coming together right when it needs to. And this is not going to be a tough game. It's not going to be a tough game it's not going to be an easy game for either team. If either one of these teams thinks, we're just going to put the other team away early, that's not going to happen. It's probably going to be another one of those nail biter games, to be honest with you. It's probably going to be won by a field goal or a missed field goal or whatever. But these teams, they're going to slug it out. It's going to be like, Rocky and Ivan Drago. It's going to be a slobber knocker. And, but, I wouldn't have it any other way, because this is exactly what the team needs to do. You have no fear. If you get past Philadelphia, you have no fear of who you face in the Super Bowl. You don't. Kansas City, Kansas City won a lot of close games. Kansas City does seem to be the darlings of the NFL and getting the, the referee calls, and I did watch a little bit of the game yesterday or whenever it was. Yeah, I believe it was yesterday. And just a little bit I saw, I was like, okay, I see what people are talking about. It does feel like they get some calls there that I'm kind of like, So you got to play against the refs along with Kansas City. But then, I mean, what if it's Baltimore? We played Baltimore. We played them tough.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season, they beat us. But that would be a battle of the Beltway for the Super Bowl. Yeah. I mean, could you I don't think, Brandon, we could write up a script any better than, okay, if you're going to get to the Super Bowl, you got to go through Philly. And if you beat them, it's the battle of the Beltway.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. That would be huge. That would be a huge Super Bowl. I think everybody and their brother would tune in for the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
So, man.
Well, I'll say this real quick, man. I think why we're real threat in the playoffs is this. We had no real expectations. We just didn't go out there and play. If you look at every team outside of even Buffalo, every team in the playoffs right now, they have pressure on them. I mean, Detroit, you were in the NFC Championship game last year, and now you lost in the divisional. And the expectations with teams like Detroit is, you want to get better after each year. I mean, expectations to me was Super Bowl. I mean, I thought they were pretty much of a lock in the Super Bowl, and they got exposed, which is, Jared Goff, I think, is a good quarterback, but he echoes a lot of quarterbacks in the playoffs this year, including Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is one of those guys where, he's got the MVP trophies, and obviously he's a great talent. I mean, he is just unreal. I mean, he's crazy talented, man. But the thing is, it's one thing to win MVPs. You got to win that last game of the year. And there's a lot of pressure on Baltimore. They haven't won the last game of the year. They've been a team that's been consistently a contender in the AFC, especially in their division, AFC East, man. But it's all about winning that last game of the year. I mean, and I was talking to my wife about it earlier, man. I said, look, it's one thing to win MVPs, but I mean, every goal for every organization, day one should be a championship. Individual accolades, that's all nice, man. The MVPs, they're great in this house, but you got to win championships. Tom Brady, he's got MVPs, but he's also got 7 Super Bowl rings. So it's all about that last game of the year. And like I said, we have no expectations. I mean, we're just the free bird team, man. We're just rolling. We're just out there. We're playing our best game.
We're playing with house money.
Playing with house money. I mean, we're just living a dream right now. And we continue to be resilient. We continue to punch teams in the mouth. When it comes to takeaways, 5 turnovers. They deserve to lose. Let's be real. I mean, and you've heard a few outlets where it's like, oh, Detroit just gave away. Don't take away from this team. This team fought. This team has not only fought 20 years under.
Yeah, nothing was given to the team now.
Nothing was given to us, man. I mean, we've been through so much scrutiny as a franchise just from the name where, I truly believe the name Dan Snyder quit because, he's Dan Snyder. I think we could have kept the name, but that's a whole nother conversation. He caved in. And like I said, another conversation for another day. But, people got on us about that. People got on us about the culture. People got on us about the stadium. People get on us about this and that and that and that. But you can't say anything anymore. We got a real owner now. We got an owner that is a reputable owner. I mean, he owns the 76ers. He owns the Devils. And outside of this season where the Sixers kind of struggling, they've been a good franchise. I mean, they're well-ran franchise. He's a guy who knows the business side, yes, but he knows what this franchise expects. We have given away our expectations for the last 20 years. There was a time where Super Bowl or bust was the mantra in the nation's capital. And then under Snyder, it was just, we might make the playoffs, but hey, at least I got the checks rolling in, right? Josh Harris believes that the standard here is championships. All right, so that's what I'm saying. Eagles fans, they can go ahead and, sing their little corny song all they want, but they've won 1 title. And you can even argue that was kind of a gimme. I'm saying, but, we have a dynasty in the making, in my opinion. We have a team that's going to be consistently good. So looking at Philly, I think that we need to stop this whole underdog. We have proven it time and time again that we're a team that can fight to the end. I mean, Philadelphia, and going back to my original point, which is they got pressure. Sirianni better win that game. I mean, you take Barkley out of the equation, what really is the identity of the Eagles offense? Jalen Hurts, they don't know whether they love or hate the guy. I mean, when one year they love him, the next year they're ready to find another quarterback. I mean, without Saquon, they're not the same team. Let's be real. So eliminate Saquon out of the equation. Make it hard for him to get going. I mean, put some pressure on Jalen Hurts. Take his legs away. They're running attack, in my opinion. I mean, A.J. Brown, yeah, but there's been issues with him and Jalen Hurts because, that is the way you attack the Eagles. Take the run out of the equation. They're a running team. You take Saquon Barkley out of the equation, they lost their spark. And they're just not they know they have to win this game. They have more pressure than we do. We lose the game, cool. We got our head coach for years on. They lose the game, so you're only probably out. Let's be real. He's probably out the job. I mean, Saquon, really, how long do you have Saquon in the equation? And A.J. Brown, they're already talking about him maybe going to New England. I mean, he could be on the moves. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on Philly to win this game. They need to win the game a lot more than we do. Because, again, nobody expected anything out of us. So you go to the NFC Championship game and you lose, you still won 12 games and the most wins since 1999 or 91, excuse me. And so it's still, this is still a win for us. We still made it past the point where most people did not think we were going to go. So we can write our own storyline at this point. Buffalo, look, with more success is more expectations. Josh Allen got to win that game because now with him and Lamar being under the microscope for MVP, it behooves him to win those games. To me, the biggest game in the whole playoffs right now is Buffalo and Baltimore because they both need to win that game. And you can argue that Buffalo still has a lot more of an open window than Baltimore, but Baltimore needs to win it because at the end of the day, it's one thing to win MVPs, but you have to win that last game of the season because that's where you define legacy. There's a lot of MVPs in the league that have never made it in most sports. Let's be real. And you see more in football and basketball than baseball. But it's one thing to win individual accolades, but you've got to win the last game of the year. And Baltimore is one of those teams where their window's closing a little bit. I mean, so Kansas City. Yeah, I mean, Kansas City. I mean, it's easy to hate the Chiefs because they get so many calls and Patrick Mahomes and you got
the Taylor Swift. Oh God.
I mean, it gets in your nerves, man. But it is what it is. I would love to see the Ravens or the Bills go ahead and just take them out of the equation. I'm tired of them. I'm looking for new blood, and like I said, I got this is a discussion I had with somebody, which is the Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, which is who do you want to see? And to me, I want to see Buffalo because I want to see new blood. The thing with Lamar Jackson, I think he's a great talent, Greg. But I mean, MVPs only tell me half the story. I mean, they can never get past a certain point, and they either need to win it or or something else because I'm looking for new blood. Same thing in the NFC. I'm tired. Philly has been a successful team, but again, you have to win the last game of the season. You can talk all this noise all you want. You get on Twitter and you can fly Eagles fly and all this corny stuff, but you got to win the game. And we split the series with them, and you can argue we pretty much almost won the first meeting. So the pressure's on them. And this team's hungry. Look, this team's hungry. We're going in your house. We've beaten you in your house before, and we're going to beat you in your house again. So you can talk all you want, but you still have to show up. Detroit talked a little bit. They thought they had the game in the bag. They thought they had it. They thought they were just going to come in. It's going to be formalities. They're going to blow us out the frame. No, because you turn the ball over, we're going to capitalize. This is not the same team like they were.
This is not Dan Snyder's team.
This is not Dan Snyder's team anymore, man. This is a whole new mentality, a whole new culture. This team is ready to scrapple. They're ready to fight. They're going to fight to the end. There's no knockouts, man. You're not going to knock us out. You're going to have to choke us out because we're going to fight.
And you're right, and that's the mentality that I have seen.
Yeah,
and it's become more prominent each week. Is that suddenly it doesn't matter if we're behind or whatever. It doesn't matter. They are never considered out of the game as long as you got Jaden Daniels there. You're never considered being out of the game. I mean, you go back and look at that Detroit game. One of their scoring drives came because of a bad missed call of a face mask penalty where we had stopped them behind the line and would have forced them to punt. And because of that, they got 7 points off of that. And you could argue, well, that was a take back from the hit that Jared Goff, got in the first half from that pickoff, that interception. And, I kept looking at that and I'm like, I'm 50-50 on that. He did get hit kind of under the chin, maybe around the neck area.
Yeah.
And I think if you slowed it down, you probably would have saw it was more in the chest, but it probably any other time it gets called. But still, there were calls where, it gave Detroit new life and was able to
Yeah.
keep drives sustained. So, if that had been a no call, which it should have been, I mean, Detroit doesn't score at that point. Maybe Washington goes down and scores again, and so it could have been even more lopsided.
Yeah.
And that's just it. And currently, I just want to say right now, I'm just taking a look at the Buffalo and Baltimore game. Buffalo's up 14-7. So at the time of the recording of this video, Buffalo is doing it. And although it looks like there was a huge pass downfield, so it's first and goal for Baltimore. So there you go. Forget everything I said. So, but yeah, I mean, this team is resilient, and honestly, even though it's easier said than done, it's house money. It doesn't matter. We have gone way past anybody's expectations at this point, so doesn't matter what happens in the NFC East or in an NFC Conference Championship game. This team has gotten respect from everybody.
Oh yeah.
This whole organization has, and there will be expectations next year. Believe it or not, there's going to be expectations, but in the back of my mind, I'm like, we got to beat those darned Eagles. We got to beat them.
Yeah.
I just if it was the Rams, I would say, you know what, it's going to be a good game. Let's just enjoy it no matter what. But the Eagles, if it was the Giants, if it was the Cowboys, be the same way. It's like, no, we got to beat them. No matter what happens in the Super Bowl, we got to beat this team. So just get prepared, folks, for a lot of trash talking. You're going to hear everything and anything from Eagles fans. Eagles fans going to hear it from Commanders fans. It's just how it's going to be. But no, at the end of the day, this is really the game that everybody wants to see. Everybody is thrilled to see Jaden Daniels in the NFC conference game. And the Eagles were the last best team standing in the NFC. So let's do it. Let's rumble. Let's find out what our team has, if they have anything left in the tank. And I'm excited as someone who, again, has been able to live through and witness the glory years. There's a certain amount of expectations and just a certain amount of calmness and actually enjoying watching these games, kind of like how it felt back in the 80s when I watched this team play. Like week in and week out, I expected them to win. And even against some tough teams, like back then, it was the Giants that I always feared, 49ers, games like that. But there's an expectation, like I know now I have confidence in this team, huge confidence. Have confidence in our quarterback, have confidence in our head coach, had confidence in our general manager or owner. This is almost like going back to how it was before Dan Snyder, honestly. And so a lot of you guys who are young who didn't get to witness that, and you've had to basically grow up and endure the Dan Snyder rough season of that, just understand, listen to me what I'm coming from. Having that feeling of, I have no doubt that this team can beat any other team every single week. You're going to start having those feelings, and it's going to be great. You're going to be able to really enjoy watching football. You all these years, how you're always like, looking at New England Patriots fans. It's like, why could it be like that? All these other fans who enjoyed, like, I have no doubt we're going to win this week, or at the end of the season we're going to have winning record and all this stuff. You're going to have that, and you're going to start feeling that, and you're going to start expecting it. You're going to start expecting better things from this franchise, and they're delivering it. They really are. And this is just the start of it. This is what's so exciting. This actually may trump what I witnessed in the 80s. If we keep on this trajectory and knowing that we keep saying this is the worst team that Jaden Daniels is playing on. That just put that in perspective. This is the worst team that he is playing on with the talent around him. And Adam Peters is going to go in there and he's going to build this team. He's going to continue building it. And to know that, and they still made it to the NFC conference title, what does that tell you? This could be the makings of this, a New England team that we witnessed for the last 20 years. I'm not going to say they're going to be good for 20 years. Because Jaden Daniels is 25. He gets good, 10 years later, he's 35. I don't know if he can play till 45 or not. Let's see. But we have something to look forward to. And let's just enjoy this. Let's just go out and enjoy the whole thing. Take it all in with this conference championship, getting so close to the Super Bowl. It's just, win or lose, enjoy it. Excuse me, because we haven't seen this in a long, long time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not getting emotional. I'm just choking for some reason. So 33 years, folks. Some of you guys are not even 33 years old. So, let's just enjoy it. So anyway, coming up later on, we will start taking a more in-depth look at keys to the game for the championship game. We will do that later on in the week. But Brandon, man, what else we got to say but hell to the Commanders, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say this real quick. I'm leaving on this note real quick. Ain't nobody sweating Philly. Come on, man. They need to be sweating us. Stop it. First of all, the most famous athlete from Philly is a fictional character. Stop it. I mean, the cheesesteak's overrated. Really, the best cheesesteak I found was in Jersey. Okay, let's be real. The pressure's on them. All right, you need to stop. You got one Super Bowl. Come on, step it up. I ain't worried about the freaking Eagles. They can come on. They bring it. Come on. We ready for that. We're going to go in their house. We're going to smack them in the mouth. Tired of all this Eagles talk. Come on now. Matter of fact, I'll do this, man. I'll offer them a tour of our facility so they can look at more than one Super Bowl trophy so they'll know how it is to win another one. But now I'm tired of all the talk, man. We proved that you need to go out and play the game. We can talk all this mess about it. It looks good on paper. But, hey, a lot of things look good on paper. You got to play the game. So, no, I think we're ready for Philly. We're going to stop all this mess, man. We're going to go and take care of business, man. And then we're going to look and we're going to see who's we're going to match up in the Super Bowl. Because I think the Commanders they deserve some gumbo. So I think was it New Orleans, right? Yeah. The Super Bowl's in New Orleans. So I think it's time for some gumbo.
I like it. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, I'm kind of craving gumbo now.
I know. It sounds good right now.
It sounds really good. Yeah. And guess what, folks? Think about it. Playoffs are a different season. Dan Quinn said this is season 2. You've heard him say that, and you're like, what are you talking about, season 2? Yeah, because the playoffs are different season. Once you get to the playoffs, everybody's 0-0. And so just think about that. That's why you see first seed teams go down, because you get teams like the Commanders who are like, why not us? And that's their mantra right now. And so if you think that any of these games are going to be easy, a lot, I've already heard from some Eagles fans who said, man, I'm so glad that the Commanders beat Detroit because this is going to be an easier thing for us. And I was like, how? It's like, did you see how we beat Detroit? You think that can't happen to you? I'm like, it can happen. I'm like, it's not, there's no easy way to the Super Bowl. Even if you wind up blowing the team out, none of these teams, all these teams get there because they paid the price. It's like Ric Flair said, they bled, sweat, all that stuff. They paid the price. The Commanders have paid the price. So, and they're not even supposed to be here, according to everybody, even a lot of us. but yet here they are.
It's so
So
funny, man. I mean, look, we're about to make them our daddy, man. Stop. I mean, think about it. Look at Philly sports. Come on, now. Half the Phillies are former Nationals. Stop. And then your basketball team's owned by Josh Harris. So we're gonna make you our daddy. Stop it. What Super Bowl? What
see
Super
see
Bowl?
see Brandon's already on it, man. He's like, I have no fear. You
Hey,
know,
I'm loyal, man. I'm loyal. I love
I'm
this team.
trying to finesse it a little bit. You know, I'm trying to be like, hey, you know, let's just, if you're going to beat us, do it. You know,
Oh yeah,
come on, bring it.
come on.
And Brandon's like, you ain't beating us. No, you ain't beating
Nah.
us. I honestly, I told my wife last night, I said, if the Commanders get past the Lions, they're going to the Super Bowl. She's
Oh yeah.
like, really? I was like, well, they got to play another game. But I'm like, I don't see how they lose any more games. I don't see how they lose. The way they played tonight, that's a team that is on a different level. And this is not the team that was in, even when they were playing great in the regular season, this is not the same team. They have stepped it up. And I really do believe this team is going to the Super Bowl. Prove me wrong, Philly, but you know, the only thing that I can bet you is if you guys win, I'm going to eat a Philly cheesesteak. I'll take one for the team, but you know, I'm trying to, you know, suffer with everybody else, right? But no, I really do think after the way they played last night, hey, I have seen this franchise get to the Super Bowl, and I've seen how they have gotten to the Super Bowl. And this team last night didn't look like anything like the team that I saw this whole year. They look like something more than that.
Yeah.
Like they're almost like they're possessed. This is going to be a battle, and I'm telling you, you're going to have to bring your A game, because if you don't bring your A game, the Commanders are going to take it, and they're going to take it pretty quickly. So that being said, that's all I got. I know that's all Brandon's got, but we will be back. No, he's got a whole lot more. But we will be back later in the week. We'll discuss keys to victory, and man, we're enjoying this ride, man. We are enjoying this ride. Hell to the Washington Commanders, hell to the Redskins, folks. We are so back. All right, folks, take care. We will see you in the next one.